October brought me a mix of wins, misses, and a few surprises. Some of it you'll have caught in the videos I've posted, but other parts never made it to the channels. I'm Vadd, and here I'll cover what I invested time in, what stuck with me, some new reflections now that I've had some more time to kind of think things over. The first thing this month that I covered was the promised Mascot agency. I think the fact sheet I got for this one says the genre is, quote, open world mascot management crime drama, end quote. In short, we are Michi. We're in a fictional universe in a hypothetical place that does not exist. We are Michi, a disgraced Yakuza lieutenant. And right at the start, we get exiled to this cursed town, and we're sent to try and make a bankrupt business profitable. This business is the Mascot agency. One thing that's kind of a twist here is that mascots are sentient. They are their own species, living flesh, right? They are not just, humans in a costume. And they're trying to coexist along mankind, but they're kind of in this town struggling. This one definitely has its own unique flavor, its own unique style, its own unique humor. I don't know if it's ever going to be my most favorite game in the world, but I've definitely enjoyed my time in it. I don't think I'm quite at the midway point. I think I'm still pretty early on. I might do a live stream on it. I haven't quite decided. I worked on a series for quite a bit, but there's a lot of dialogue. The dialogue is all voice acted in Japanese. I'm not fluent in Japanese, so I'm still reading it and trying to keep up with the world as they continue to unfold and explain it to us, as there's kind of a lot to learn. I think at this point in my journey with Promise Mascot Agency, I'd label things as so far so good, and maybe that's just good enough. Keep an eye on the reviews channel. I'm hoping to get a review out on this one. This month of October, I spent a good chunk of time in Dredge. I've had my eye on this one since it came out, which was a little while back now. At this point, it's feature complete, where the devs have said, hey, we've done what we're going to do, and I found it really charming. I enjoyed my time there a lot. It's an easy game to recommend because it's an easy game to explain, as Dredge doesn't try and do too much. It's got a tight little loop that is the gameplay, and it doesn't deviate from that too far. It doesn't introduce too many complex mechanics. It's all pretty straightforward, which I think is always kind of a boon. When you want to recommend a game to someone, you have to be able to explain it to them. And I always think it's kind of a weak explanation to be like, well, if you've played game B, then this game A is kind of like that. And Dredge is its own thing. Dredge opens up really basically with you got a boat and you're catching fish, and people are asking you to, hey, since you've got this boat, you're out there catching things, can you dredge, right? Can you throw a big net, a big crane, whatever, and can you help me find some lost treasure, some relics? And over time, you start to be introduced to a mystery, right? Why are these relics out there? What happened to the mayor? Why are these fish so spooky sometimes? And it's just a really fun little adventure that I'm not going to spoil. This one did get a completed series and a review, so you're welcome to check those things out if you want to see more about how Dredge unfolded. But I definitely think this was a worthwhile one and time well spent. I think one of the most important things a game can do is be good. And once it's good, can it be fun? And once it's good and fun, can the developers make a new game? Because with this one, I think they've earned a little trust with me, a little good faith that whatever they make next, I will check out because I enjoyed this one so much. It's not complicated. It's just how things work. I also picked up this month and started my journey through Stellar Blade. My biggest concern at a glance with Stellar Blade, I was afraid it was just going to be Sexy Lady Simulator and the gameplay was going to be kind of light. I don't think I'm officially at the halfway point as far as percentage complete goes, but I'm 12 hours in, which is a pretty good chunk of time. And I can confidently say that it's not just Sexy Lady Simulator. There is actually gameplay here. I think the gameplay is pretty good. There's definitely a learning curve to the parry system, which is the core mechanic of combat. In short, Stellar Blade has a few animations. When you slap the parry button, there's animations that your character has to go through before the parry is satisfied in the combat system. So if you push the button expecting to parry, you will not parry. You need to push the button before you need to parry on a pretty substantial amount because of those animations. And Stellar Blade is unique in its parry mechanic because it does not parry the point of contact. Instead, it parries the point before contact. For example, if the boss is swinging his sword at you and is going to hit you on the number 3, you could count 1, 2, 3 and push parry, and it would block the point of contact attack. You could push parry, and in most games, point of contact is when you would need to parry. In Stellar Blade, they want you to parry on 2. So if 3 is when the boss is going to hit you, and 2 is right before this boss hypothetically would hit you, you would parry on 1, 2. And there's a learning curve to that for me, is I have decades and decades and thousands of hours of experience in multitudes of games that parry on contact, not the moment before. So I'm constantly just struggling with a difficult mechanic that part of it's difficult because I'm just expecting to parry the point of contact, not the moment before. And then it kind of piles on because there's these wind up animations for your character to parry before the parry counts. To be clear, this is not necessarily a negative or a positive. It's just my struggle with the system that is core to how the game is intended to be played. At the 12-hour point here in Stellar Blade, I've got a few gripes I'm not going to get too deep into right here. There are things that are just design choices if I was in charge I would not have made. There are a lot of good things going on in Stellar Blade, but there's also a lot of just really weak choices. There have been a number of occasions where we've been allowed to explore, but the only places we can explore are places we can't really do a whole lot in because we'll need to come back for a side quest, and that never really gels with me. I much prefer if you give me an opportunity to explore, reward me for that exploration so I keep wanting to explore. Instead, it feels punishing to go to somewhere new and exciting, discover there's absolutely nothing you can do, think that maybe there's a bug, go look up what the issue is and discover that, oh, there's a side quest for a character you've met that will ask you to come back here at some point, but you don't know that yet because the character won't give you the side quest until you progress the main story past this point. And those type of design choices just do not bring me joy. As I start to feel punished for exploring, and I feel very silly for not just mainlining the main story, just running straight it up, just getting it done, right? I like to say that's happened only once or twice or 3 times or 4 times or 5, but it's kind of a reoccurring theme here. I do think Stellar Blade will get a full series completed on it and a review coming out eventually. It'll be interesting to see by the end of the journey what it scores on the review scale. If you're not familiar with the scale, in short, there's the objective score, which is I have actual metrics for if you do this, you get points. If you don't do this, you don't get points. And that gets the review score. And then there's the what am I just like, what's the gut feeling at the end, which is just the recommendation, right? And right now, it's kind of scoring in like the middling zone on just the numbers. But the gut feeling is like, I kind of recommend it, even if there's systems I don't love. I haven't decided where I'm going to end up on this one with that gut feeling. And I'm hoping it gets some more points on the board as I get further in the Stellar Blade. This October, I also spent time in Ball Pit. It's all caps BALL space lowercase x space all caps PIT. Apparently not pronounced Ball X Pit or Bulks Pit. It's a Ball Pit, 2 complete separate words with a random X in between for reasons I do not know. Ball Pit is a roguelite. It has 2 kind of core things you do. You're building this little village with these pinball mechanics, and then you're also fighting through waves of enemies in this pinball type of map. And that's the Ball Pit, the pinball map, where your character will just shoot the balls and you can catch them and bounce them back. And as they hit enemies, those balls deal damage. And as you work your way through the maps, throwing your balls in the pit at the enemies, you'll get materials to upgrade your village. And then the village will allow you to have stronger balls or faster balls or do more crits, etc., etc. That's kind of the whole game. Not trying to oversimplify things or over-explain things. That's about it. And it's catchy. It's something that feels like, this might sound like a disrespectful thing to say. It sounds like something that I'm talking down on this game. Ball Pit would be a great mobile game. And I'm not saying that to be mean or derogatory or negative in any way. I genuinely mean this game feels so optimized for the small screen. Part of the reason for that is you can do a run in somewhere between 8 and 20 minutes. On a routine basis, I'll finish a level in around 10 to 12 minutes. Because you don't need to be aiming a whole bunch of skill shots. You're just kind of moving your character left and right as they auto throw all the balls. It just would be so smooth to play on the mobile. And the base building's kind of the same thing, where it's just kind of point and click. Again, it might sound like I'm being negative with this. I just think it's optimized for mobile in a way that a lot of games are not. I found this one really charming, and I love a good bite-sized adventure where things are simple but engaging. I think I've had enough fun in this one to keep playing a little bit more. This is one of those, it's probably not my all-time favorite game ever, but it's definitely one that I've enjoyed my time in.